Hiya. And forgive my reading this, but I haven't a teleprompter. If our 250-year experiment in democracy is to be a success, we are long overdue to rid ourselves of a pair of unjust institutions rooted in slavery, even medievalism. The Electoral College is a 1787 sop to slave owners in southern states where black slaves outnumbered white people, but counted as only 3/5 of a man. In other words, they shot themselves in the foot. 5 presidents lost the popular vote, but wound up in the White House only because of the Electoral College. 2 in recent history. George Bush Jr. in 2000, despite Al Gore winning by 500,000 votes. Donald Trump in 2016, despite Hillary Clinton receiving nearly 2.9 million more votes. So much for the will of the people. Well into our new century and our new millennium, time to get rid of this hangover from slavery. And let the popular vote be the last word, as it is from town council choices to gubernatorial and U.S. senator contest. We share the death penalty with no other modern industrial democracy on earth. 23 states and the District of Columbia have abolished this barbarism. 27 states, the federal government, 3 prisoners, and U.S. military, 10 prisoners, last execution 1961, yet retain it. Of the over 2,100 men and women on our nation's death rows, about 100 have proven innocent at any given time, spending as long as 39 years caged before set free. Since 1973, there have been 202 exonerations, typically because of flawed evidence, recanted or biased testimony, or institutional pressure to close a case. In other words, justice be damned, there are careers at stake. For every 8 people on death row, 1 is found innocent and exonerated. That's some kind of batting average, huh? Hundreds of others at any given time are over-sentenced, underscoring that there is no such thing as equal justice under the law. No millionaire accused of murder has been executed, which tells you all about our alleged equitability. Money alone buys justice, the best counsel. Consider the innocent people put to death over our 2.5 centuries. If 1 innocent person is executed, we failed. We're a sham and all of us culpable. Every study shows the death penalty is no deterrent, even the opposite. The simple and weak-minded reasoning, if the state can kill, so can they. The death penalty sending a message of validation as strong as any violent video game. We incarcerate a greater percentage of our population than any nation on earth, yet have the highest rate of recidivism, and that includes third world countries. The United States has the highest rate of any industrialized country, the highest homicide rate of any G7 member. What has the death penalty done for you? Do you feel safer walking the streets of London, Madrid, Lisbon, Rome, Copenhagen, Berlin, Stockholm, and shame on you. What are you doing walking the streets? Okay. Or Miami, Memphis, Baltimore, St. Louis, Philadelphia, Richmond, Milwaukee, or Minneapolis. Closest you're going to get to an intermission. Iran, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Yemen, China, North Korea still execute those under 18. Until 2005, so did the United States. As recently as 1998, we carried out the only 3 judicial executions of juveniles in the world. Bankrupt politicians appeal to the ignorant and fearful by proclaiming tough on crime, because they support the death penalty. It's moronic. Justice and money are saved when we incarcerate, not execute. It cost us beleaguered taxpayers over 5 times as much to try a capital case than to impose life without parole, even if no monies earned by the accused go toward restitution of the victim's family. If murder is the most heinous of crimes, what is it when 12 citizens deliberate, then pull the switch or administer the lethal injection? Why do we want to become murderers? 2 wrongs never create a right. Supreme Court Justices Thurgood Marshall and William O. Douglas opposed capital punishment on moral grounds, adding that it was cruel and unusual punishment, a position shared by everyone from Amnesty International to the Catholic Church, Green and Democrat parties. The American Bar Association and the United Nations Commission on Human Rights have both called for an end to the death penalty. Bakri Waldi Najai, a former Amnesty International senior official, concluded that the United States death sentences continue to be marked by arbitrariness. Race, ethnic origin, economic status appear to be the key determinants of who will and who will not receive a sentence of death. In 1992, Episcopal Bishop William E. Swing of San Francisco pleaded that the loathsome Robert Alton Harris's death sentence be commuted to life imprisonment, well summing it. If someone murdered my wife or child, my reaction as a man would be to kill them with my own hands. But the idea of a church or civilizing society is to raise us all above our basest human desires. That's wisdom, sports fans. Okay. The United States ranks 12th in adult literacy among developed nations. Not much to write home about. The New Yorker reports U.S. literacy peaking back in 2012. Our K through 12 trails at least 16 other modern industrial democracies. Our teachers, on average, are paid less than entry-level junior executives at R.J. Reynolds or Philip Morris. Some priorities, huh? Despite an ounce of prevention, cheaper and more effective than a ton of non-cure. Against the death penalty, Voltaire, Victor Hugo, the Shelleys, Robert Louis Stevenson, Mark Twain, George Bernard Shaw, Albert Camus, Clarence Darrow, Ramsey Clark, Chekhov, Robert Heinlein, Eli Wiesel, Nat Hentoff. Supreme Court justices, including Stevens, Powell, Blackmun, Breyer, Ginsburg, Kennedy, O'Connor, Scalia, Louis Brandeis. Physicists and humanitarians, Albert Einstein, Carl Sagan, Stephen Hawking, Neil deGrasse Tyson. For death, Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, Sarah Palin. The late bottom feeder, Rush Limbaugh. There's a 10-minute, 37-second courtroom scene here on YouTube that might drive home the repugnance of the death penalty. Orson Welles portrays Clarence Darrow in 1959's Compulsion, a true story. Long overdue to jettison the Electoral College and death penalty and embrace a fair and just future. And hope to see you at the quincentennial.